So E equals MC squared. Your web elements can create a gravitational pull when good content is combined with focused momentum. In this video, we are going to be exploring the E of your web elements. We're going to be taking a look at E equals MC squared, that formula for inbound marketing gravity, in more detail, but E is the one we're focusing on. As a child, did you ever wonder why your parents felt that it was so important that you ate the most dreadfully disgusting green things? Or perhaps why you couldn't just eat the chicken and eat the steak, but leave all the mashed potatoes on your plate? As an adult, I am sure that you probably already understand this and you probably figured this out by now, but a balanced meal is essential. It is crucial to your health. A diet that eliminates one or more of the food groups will have a negative impact on your body in the long term. You're going to have some negative results. Balance is as crucial to your health as it is to your web efforts. And there are three equally important food groups that need attention with your web efforts. With inbound marketing, you should strive to achieve balance between all of your different food groups. You can't have one without the other. The three different elements that every web presence should have are, drum roll please, don't I get a drum roll for this? This is important. The first one is a solid website. The second one is an engaging blog. And the third one is a strong social media presence. So the first element is a solid website. A solid website, one that is built for inbound marketing, focuses on three things. There's a lot of other considerations when it comes to your website, but you should always focus on your structure, your design, and your content. So first of all, structurally, your website needs to be standards compliant. It needs to also be cross-browser compatible. And what this means is that it's coded in a way that renders more or less the same across the gazillion and one browsers and mobile devices that it's going to be viewed on. The second thing to keep in mind about your structure is that your website needs to be editable. It needs to allow you to update it and allow you to add pages easily. It needs to have that functionality, because content is such an important part of what makes you as a marketer successful today. Having a way to add pages and add information without the need of outside help and without limits to what you can add, that is really, really important. Those are two things that you should keep in mind as it relates to structure. For inbound marketing to be effective, your website also has to look the part. The design is also something that you should be focused on. Design-wise, your website needs to be, first of all, this goes without saying, but I have to say it because I see it. It needs to be professional, and it needs to represent your company well. With all of the resources that there are out there, the free resources, it makes absolutely no sense to turn visitors off with a website that is amateurish or that's poorly designed. So don't be fooled by the quick and easy website building software that's out there. If you are serious about your business and you want to be taken seriously, then get a serious website. This is one area that you can't compromise in. Secondly, your website should reflect your corporation's brand. So in my designs, I use a lot of templates, I use a lot of themes, and I use a lot of pre-designed sites, but customizing them to fit your brand, that is what's important. If your corporate colors are maroon and cream, it makes absolutely no sense for you to have a hot pink website. If you present yourself to be a fun and energetic company, then having a website design that's stiff and that's stuffy, it's just downright confusing, and that's the last thing you want to do for your targets. Your website should extend your corporate brand. And finally, content. This is another consideration that you need to keep in mind with your website. You need to have two different types of content on your website. The first is informational content. That is information about your company, your products, and your services. And those are your core web pages. When you create your core web pages, like your contact page and your About Us page, they are really, really important because they build credibility and they give visitors confidence in you and in what you're selling. Those pages are the places where you want to put your bragging rights. It is okay to brag. It is okay to tell the world how great you are. But as you do this, the important thing to remember is that even though these core pages are about your company, you still should be presenting the information in a non-salesy way. And you need to speak from your customer's perspective. There has to be balance. You need to make sure that the information that you're presenting is being presented in a way that shows them how your company could help them. If you start having a one-sided conversation, you run the risk of turning them off, and that's the last thing that you want to do online. The second type of content that you should include on your website is content that's centered around your visitors. So the first type was content that was centered around your company. This content is centered around your target audience and what their needs are. You need to give them something that gives them some meat, something that provides value to them. A blog, which we're going to talk about later on, provides an excellent way to do this, but you can also create informational web pages that serve as a resource for your leads and for your target. So the first element of your web presence is a solid website that is professional, that is attractive, and that clearly discusses who you are. You need to focus on structure, you need to focus on design, and you need to focus on content. And this element is really, really important, but unfortunately, that is where most companies stop. They think that creating that website is the beginning and the ending of their web presence, and that's all that they ever need. But there is so much more to online marketing, as you will learn, than just having an awesome website. Like, for instance, having an engaging blog. So your website should also have what I call a human element to it. Your visitors need to know that real humans work for your company, and a blog is flawless at doing this. A blog is simply a platform that allows you to publish articles or information that are of value to your targets in a very informal way. And it's great because it humanizes your company. It allows them to connect with you. You can speak about topics that interest your audience in a very informal, less formal, and very friendly way. And you're even going to be able to converse with them directly. That's what's so awesome about a blog, is that they have the commenting feature. And this is the type of interaction that website visitors crave. I can't tell you how awesome it is to be able to collect the immediate feedback of your customers and your potential customers. It really is exciting. And you get to hear directly the voice of your customer, and it gives you insights that you never would have had otherwise. Another thing about blog content is that it's also the type of content that Google and the other search engines like. Blog content makes search engines very happy, and as a result, they will make you happy. They're going to send visitors your way. And I could go on and on about the benefits of blogging, but instead I am going to provide some links in the resource section to a few articles that I've written on my blog about the upside of blogging for your business. So please take a look and check them out at your leisure. An engaging blog, as I said, is becoming an essential part of your corporate web strategy. But do you know what else is also equally as important? Well, it's the third element. It is a strong social media presence. Another element that your web presence needs is a social media presence. There are hundreds of social media networks out there, but do not let the volume overwhelm you. Start by first focusing on the big three networks. And those big three that are leading by leaps and bounds today are Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then once you're on those networks, do some research to figure out how your target audience members are actually using these networks. Become a spy and spy on them. After you've got your roots firmly planted in the social media soil, with those big three. Do some digging to figure out whether there are some other networks that maybe you overlooked the first time around, because I told you to focus only on the first three. So a social media presence on relevant networks where your targets are does two things, two very important things. The first is that it makes your company accessible. They have a direct line of communication to you, and you have a direct line of communication to them. Remember, we talked about big companies and how they're not accessible. This is where you went out. The second thing that it does is that it allows you to attempt to reach out and get insight into their world. You really are going to be able to spy on them. And when you spy on them, you're going to be able to understand them better. And as you continue to evolve your sales and marketing efforts, that knowledge that you get is going to help you better relate to them. So with inbound marketing, to create marketing gravity, you have to have strong web elements, and you have to create balance and harmony between all of them. They are the foundation of your web efforts, and they all need to be in place, not just one of them, all of them. Without one, the impact of your entire campaign will suffer.